retargeting, rebuttals, upsells, pulling in AOV. Are you going to do discounts? What are you going to do on that second touch? Do you have the luxury problem? If you have actually determined you have the budget, the know-how, the infrastructure, and the need, and everything else that you have in place in order to take advantage of the luxury problem that is retargeting, and you want it to be an actual boon to your business, you want it to be something that can bring in more and more value to what it is that you're doing, and you want it to be something that's successful for you long-term, let's get to the rebuttal upsell. This is the Reap Upsell. Let's go. So, first, thank you so much for watching this channel. You know, you could be anywhere on the internet right now and you're here. So thank you very much. Also, if you find this valuable, go ahead and subscribe. And I love seeing the comments and answering your questions. You can find me anywhere else on the internet. Follow me there and let me know what you'd like to see. In addition to that, what means more than anything to me is if you could go ahead and share this with other people. There are a lot of people out there that try to teach what you're supposed to do on Facebook. And the honest truth is, we all know, well, they're full of shit. Most people that actually teach this stuff aren't good at this. They're really good at, you know, getting attention, and they're really good at running a business. Doesn't mean they're any good at running your business or telling you how to actually market things. And there's a really big thing to take into there. So the fact that you're willing to sit this time here and listen to me and learn how to do this stuff, because today's lesson is fundamental for business growth and will fundamentally and massively change your overall trajectory if you do it right. So thank you so much for taking the time to check it out. That being said, let's get into it. So what we are talking about today is the rebuttal upsell. The Reap Upsell. Now, this is taking a strategy into account that has worked for decades and using something that people are conditioned to appreciate for your advantage. And this is also turning something that primarily turns a huge weakness of most advertisers into a massive strength for your brand. We're going to get down to what are you supposed to do in retargeting, especially with multiple offers? And what are the biggest mistakes people make? So let's get to it. First thing, this is a rebuttal upsell. So we are rebuttaling somebody that hasn't necessarily bought in the first time that they've been to the store, or they've shown interest, but we didn't have the right thing for them. And now, one of the most common ways of trying to deal with it, especially if we're insecure, and what we've been taught by a whole bunch of other people that don't give a damn about the longevity of your business, is you discount, right? Basically, somebody wasn't willing to fork over their credit card in the first 30 seconds of ever getting to meet you. So clearly what you need to do is devalue yourself. Because what you really want is a super high volume of people that do not respect you, and that's somehow going to build a long-term business. Now, when you say it out loud, it sounds pretty stupid, right? Because it is. It's pretty stupid. But a lot of people do it. And it makes sense because you're like, well, hey, look, I got this customer on the discount. Sure. But how much did it cost you to get a no? And what was your profit margin on that sale anyway? How much more money did you pay to get even less money from that person? The honest truth is, any bit was a bad idea. Now, we're going to get into first why discounting is bad for you. Number one, setting a discount on a product means that you pay more money to get less revenue. Remember, when we're spending money on ads, what we're doing is we are buying money. And you're deciding, well, I want a worse exchange rate. That's what's going to be the success for my business. Making less money. That's what's going to help. And then people say, well, yeah, but you're going to get way more customers. Okay, great. Do you want more customers that look different, that value you less? That's totally fine if your entire objective is to con somebody one time and then hopefully not losing complete access to your Facebook ad account because people will report you for lack of integrity as a business. Or are you trying to build a brand where somebody legitimately respects what you have to do, is willing to pay you the money that you're worth, and pays you over and over again, whether it's 2-3 times, whether it's 5 or 10 times? Let me give you a hint. If you want somebody to buy from you 5 times, discounting them on the first time discounts every other transaction. You know what people don't do? They don't pay full price when you give them a discount the first and second time. What you've done is you basically trained that person to expect discounts from you. And primarily because they said, hey, I'm not ready to buy right now. Why didn't they buy? Well, clearly my price was too high. Well, that is one of the many, many reasons. Maybe they weren't in the mood. Maybe they needed to think about it. Maybe it wasn't enough value for them. Maybe somebody else has a lower price. Maybe it's because they were, in traffic and then the car behind them honked and they threw their phone down and went forward at the red light. Maybe they were in a meeting with their boss and the person was like, Steve, get off your phone. And then you threw the phone down and you were there. Maybe you had to go to dinner. Maybe a million things in the world happened and you weren't ready to pull out your credit card the first time somebody showed you an ad. How many times do you buy the very first time you see something? Would it entice you to buy the second time if they said, hey, look, we're actually only half as valuable? What's your perception of somebody that desperate? And what kind of perception do you think you're putting across your brand? Also, when you fill your pool up with low quality customers that are only interested in discounts, what ends up happening is the bounce rate on your website massively goes up because when you try to get them back to your website and you don't have a sale, they leave faster. So what happens then? Well, you're making way less money from your emails and your SEO ranking goes down. And then it's harder for you to acquire a customer and you have a less run rate because obviously you gave up all of your profit margin to acquire this problem. And then, well, you point to this wonderful day. So what do? You launch another sale where you discount things again. And you get a huge shot in the arm and double down on the problem that you have. And then you cycle through it again. I can't tell you how many brands I know are basically just stacking volume of shit customer and wondering why things never turn around for them. So what are you supposed to do otherwise? Because I feel like hopefully we've beaten this down enough times. Like, you get it. Discounting in your retargeting is fucking stupid. So what are you supposed to do? Well, let me tell you what I've done with several brands that have gone from 7 to 8 figures and 8 to 9 and help brands build that 7-figure business model that they've been living on for years. It's called a rebuttal upsell. Now, I said this has been around for decades because it has. You ever watch an infomercial as a kid and they're like, hey, we got this knife. And about 8 to 12 minutes into it, they're like, hey, look, it's not just the knife. You're going to get this other thing too. But wait, there's more. Now on the knife, you were like, yeah, okay, that's cool. Now they haven't told you a price yet, but already you're kind of like, I don't know. I probably don't need that one thing. And they're like, yeah, but then you get these 4 other knives. Okay, now I'm getting more value. And then maybe you get 2 of them. And then maybe a payment plan. So now when you were thinking maybe on the one thing that they might sell for 30, 40 bucks with at the time, probably $15 shipping and handling, and you had to wait 6 to 8 weeks in the mail. Maybe, who knows? But if you get a set with another set for like 120 bucks and you get it on a payment plan, well, holy shit, that's Ginsu's entire business model. And a bunch of other brands. There's a reason that infomercials work. Now, I learned this from somebody that worked at Gothic Ranker, and she literally designed the flow of infomercials. But we can do this in the real world. So somebody didn't buy your $50 product. What if you give them buy 2, get 1 free? Now, I know you're saying, well, aren't you just devaluing the product? You're giving them 3 of them right away. Yeah, sure. But you don't have to pay to acquire those other sales. They cost you 30 bucks to make a sale. On a $50 product, that's a $20 margin. Now, if you do buy 2, get 1 free, maybe that second sale, instead of spending $90 to acquire that sale, you might have to spend more money. Because if you have to spend money to get that sale, who knows? But the point is, instead of hoping that you make that second sale, you already made it. And if your cost of goods gives you a profit margin on that, well, that's really good. And if somebody buys two and gets one free, what's the likelihood of them coming back? I'll tell you, a lot fucking higher than if you sell them one thing where they're just going to go buy one more thing on Amazon. Because basically, you did all the prospecting, you did all the awareness, you did all the sales pitch, you sold one product, and if a person ever wants to buy another one, Jeff Bezos collects the money for you. I mean, not for you. He takes it from you. You don't get to see it again because you just helped your competitors succeed while you're sitting there wondering why your business isn't working. So what are the best rebuttal upsells? Well, they come in 3 packages. Number 1, buy two, get one free. Everyone loves a buy two, get one free. Charge a little bit more for your product, buy two, get one free. When we said that $50 product, it was a $30 cost that you had to spend $30 to sell, maybe it's a $10 cost of good. So you have $30 to sell it, $10 cost of good, sell it for $50. That's a $10 margin. Buy two, get one free, that's $100. And maybe it costs you $50 to sell that, $60. Let's just double the ad cost, which isn't realistic. It'll actually be less than double. But let's just double the ad cost. So now it's $60 on a $40 transaction. And the cost of good is $10. Still have a $10 profit margin. But the likelihood of that person buying from you again is a lot higher. And let's be honest, selling a $100 item doesn't cost twice as much as selling a $50 item. Let's say it's 50% more. Now you're making $25 on that transaction, $20 on that transaction, not 10. So you're making more money on that sale. You're able to spend more money on Facebook. And the likelihood of that person buying from you goes way up. Plus, if they find value in it and they actually come back to you, you know what happens? Your conversion rate on your site is higher. The stickiness of your site is higher. If they're interested in buying, the open rate on your emails goes up. The delivery on your emails, because you're not getting put to spam nearly as often, goes up. All the quality of your downstream metrics, other than the first day that you collect money, improves. Now, the last thing we're going to get to is the other types of sales pitches, because I gave you one. I didn't forget about the other ones. So let's get to those. Second one is buy one, get one 50% off. Everybody loves that. The $50 item, you know what? Get 2 of them to $75. Great. Maybe it costs you, instead of $30 to sell, it's $40 to sell. So, and your cost of goods is $10. So instead of making $10 on the transaction, it's $40. You're making $15 on the transaction. Again, making more money. You're profiting more. And turning over more inventory. And if you really want to know about retail, it's about inventory turnover. Buying things and selling things at a higher volume. That's the bottom line of all retail. So if you can get products into your store and then out of your store faster, great. Now what's the third one? Third one's my favorite. It's the bundle. I didn't want the knife. But since you gave it to me with a package of a bunch of other stuff, so it can be my entire set, and I can give one to somebody, I was on the fence about giving you 35, but I can't give you 120 fast enough. That's the rebuttal upsell. If you want to make money, you got to start thinking about your Facebook ads as business development. With that, YouTube thinks you might like these. I think this is probably a playlist. And this might be a video. If you really like things, go ahead and subscribe over here. And again, I hope you've enjoyed this. Thank you very much. My name is Charlie. I'll see you on the internet. Bye.